So I get into work today, and what do I see? I get into work today, and I see the Portland State University paper is apparently done a hit piece on me. There it is. Professor Boghossian speculates instantaneously. Intersectionality is the latest cult. Humanity is under attack by neo-Marxists. I don't think I ever used that. The left is censoring free speech in academia. That's certainly true. Professor Boghossian's expose of postmodernism speculates instantaneously as if this is snake oil. Free speech is under attack by neo-Marxists. Impress your colleagues with edgy criticism. The photoshopped piece, nonetheless. So let's see what we have here. The goal in the contemporary bullying style of Trumpist politics is to ridicule others for personal gain. PSU Educational Collective. PSU Pro-Educational Collective. These people are, look at that, they're anonymous. We have opted to communicate our concern through a collective identity rather than individually. Boghossian has not only indicated his less than collegial attitude with his hoaxes, but has actively targeted faculty to other institutions. Really, where would that be? None of us wish to contend with threats of death and assault from online trolls. I mean, it is utterly incredible to me what the university has become when you have to publish an anonymous hit piece on people. So that's what it is. You can't, they can't defend their ideas. They link me with Trump. They attack me as a person. So this group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know if I counted it right. This group of 10 professors, esteemed professors at Portland State University.
Ah, shit. Helen, do you have headphones?
Do I have headphones?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Can you please put them in? Because the feedback is killing me.
Oh, okay. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Is that better?
Oh my God, it's a billion times better. Okay, so this esteemed group, this esteemed collective of roughly 10 professors wrote a letter, an attack piece to the Portland State University Vanguard that made the front page.
Well, it's not even just a hit piece. It's a letter addressed to the students of the university where you teach, trying to play the concerned educator. Hey, students, you need to be worried about this professor in our midst. This is way worse than a hit piece.
And then they accuse you of not being collegiate.
His invitation of Google engineer James Damore tell us why women are incapable of excelling in tech fields was certainly disrespectful of all of his colleagues who identify as women. Damore proved barely articulate, much less a serious gender scholar.
Barely articulate? Are you kidding me? The professors published a statement saying he's barely articulate?
He turned up to a university, was hidden in a back room. There were threats to beat him to death with a brick for saying that men and women's gender differences have different interests on average. And then he managed to speak actually pretty articulately for somebody who is autistic and incredibly nervous in front of audience, including hostile people who damaged the sound equipment before getting a police escort out. But they are the victims here who are in danger, and they're calling him inarticulate and misrepresenting what he said. I am so fucking angry right now.
Well, listen, I mean, they're making it bigger than that too. A couple paragraphs down, these types of fraudulent, time-wasting, anti-intellectual activities are something we are becoming nationally known for under the guise of free speech or academic freedom.
When you talk about wasting people's time, imagine all the people who read these papers and take them seriously. That's a waste of their time.
Talk about wasting somebody's time. They wanted to make a graduate or undergraduate level course in masculinities based on the Hooters paper.
Well, you've just been written up in the Mean Girls burn book. That's what it looks like to me. There's nothing substantial in there. I think that what does this mean for you though? It means that inside PSU, there is a pushback and
So what I
I
would
guess an anti-Pete thing going on,
What I
right? It's
would-
an anti-you, not...
what I would love to have happen is that some of my colleagues who weren't terrified and who weren't being bullied would write another letter in support of me. They're too terrified. They'd never do that because then they'd be targeted and they could go up before the diversity board.
This is pretty savage. This part that's highlighted in red is just ridiculous. At the end it says, worse yet, it jeopardizes the students' reputations as their degrees in the process may become devalued. So somehow you're devaluing, they're telling the students of Portland State that your involvement in this project had something to do with devaluing their educations. Chronic and pathological unscholarly behavior inside an institution of higher education brings negative publicity to the institution itself, as well as to the honest scholars who work there. This is not about grievance studies degrees being devalued. This is Peter has made every degree at Portland State less valuable by trying to do an audit to raise the quality of scholarship coming out of shit fields. Then they go on, make no mistake, we are some of academia's biggest critics. No shit, you problematize everything, but that's not criticism, that's cynicism. You're not really academia's critics, you're trying to turn it into a cult.
What do you do to something like this?
Well,
how do you...
yeah. I mean, it's so wrong on so many levels, and it's so cowardly. And no one will debate us. No one will have a conversation with us. No one will. I mean, so that's the question. So what do? Do you ignore it? I was thinking about writing a response back to it, but who am I writing a response to? It's probably the Grand Wizard of the Diversity Board.
This is an inquisitional maneuver is what this is. This is inquisitorial. There's no way around it. They're targeting an individual from behind an anonymous collective, trying to appeal to a bunch of crap that doesn't even make sense. They didn't even do the slightest amount of their homework. Everything, I think, in this article is actually wrong. They got our names wrong. They misrepresented Damore. They said we didn't engage, repeatedly say we didn't engage, and there's all this proof we didn't engage. That's the exact opposite of what we did. We engaged. They call us a clown car of hoax writers that doesn't bother engaging with that.
Yeah, who probably outpublished the whole lot of them in 10 months.
That's probably why they wrote it. We outpublished their entire careers in 10 months.
And this is just the attitude that's coming up over and over again. I've had an argument with a couple of academics today, quite a few over the last few days, and it is this incessant childishness and whining. I mean, we had someone yesterday, didn't we, wrote a hit piece essentially on all of us, which was completely dishonest and attacked our characters. And then 2 hours later, he's whining that Jim is going through the article and pointing out the problems with it. My mother is dying. Yeah, I'm very, very sorry about that. We're not psychic. We can't know that. And if you're going to put this shit out there, you have to expect people to respond. It's just this constant unreasonable shit, then claim to be the victim and whine.
But this piece in the Portland Vanguard is really a bit disturbing because it's not just a hit piece written in some social justice thing. It's Dear Portland State students by professors at Portland State University warning them about Peter, who teaches at Portland State University, in their student newspaper.
They put it on the front page.
They've sensed the threat. They know that there was criticism of grievance studies, so it's just straight in there with all of the buttons pushed at once. Guilt by association. He spoke to this person who we're going to claim is a misogynist. It's we are the victims here. We're under threat. There could be online death threats. So we have to hide. And by the way, students, get him.
Well, fuck him. I'll make a video out of this. We can take a photo of it. Let's put it up on the web.
Yeah, exactly.
But Peter, should Peter do this? Is it wise for Peter to do this if there is an element of them trying to get him to do that in order to then say he brought bullying down on them? They can then say, I don't know. I mean, they haven't identified themselves, but they, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think the only consideration, I think what you're trying to hit on there is Pete, will it affect your job if we put this up on the web? And
I don't care. This has to be answered.
The truth will set you free.
It has to be answered.
All right, let's put it up.